good morning, and happy Townhouse Tuesday. We're coming to you today, Tuesday, May 11th, and we're so thrilled to be having our guests on today. We are welcoming Julianne Bond and Paul LeMarc Brown today to share information with us for sellers. There is so much to be excited about in this current real estate market, and we're thrilled to welcome Julianne Bond. Good morning,
Good
Julianne.
morning.
How are you today?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful. Doing so well, thankfully. Grateful to have you on today. We are going to be waiting for Paul LeMarc Brown as well, who is joining us today to talk about brownstones, townhouses, and I'm just trying to get him on. So,
Hey, Laura. I see Laura in there. I'm going to keep an eye and see who's on here.
Laura.
Oh, nice.
Hi, Natalie. Hi, Molly. Hi, Gina. Hi, Sasha. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Dan in the Bronx. Yes. Hi, Michelle. Good morning.
So
Okay.
funny. So cute.
Adorable. Love it. Okay. So we're going to see, hopefully we're going to get Paul on here. Sometimes it's a little bit. Yes. Hello, everyone.
Sorry,
Okay.
Rosana. I'm going to stop talking now and say hello to everybody.
No problem. Good morning. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll be able to get Paul on the call here. Sometimes it's
I saw him go by.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I thought I did.
Okay. Well, no problem either way. We're going to make it work even if we're not able to get Paul to jump in. Okay. So jumping right into today's Townhouse Tuesday, we're going to jump into the news. So one of the first things that is, something we're going to talk about today is what's happening with the Chelsea Hotel. So for those of you who are New York City lovers, the Chelsea Hotel has been under renovation since about 2012, with plans for renovation since 2012. There's Paul. Woo-hoo.
There's Paul.
We're excited. We're going to get him in here. Let's see. Thank you for your patience, everyone who's viewing. Here we go. Okay. Yay. All right. Let's see if he gets in. Okay. So, yay, Paul. Woo-hoo.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Paul.
Good morning. So thanks for joining us, Paul. Happy to see you. How are you today?
Happy to see you both.
Yeah.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah. Happy Tuesday. So for those of you who are, new to the Morning Mint, which is all of us, because the Morning Mint just started on May 3rd, you should probably understand that this is a new ball game for all of us in terms of getting the tech down. First of all, Instagram Rooms is new as of March 3rd, I think, was launched. So we're all figuring this tech out together, and it's been an adventure and it's fun. Okay, so jumping right into the real estate news today for the Morning Mint, the Chelsea Hotel owners are suing the city for $100 million over renovation delays. Okay, so Chelsea Hotel is just a piece of New York City history. You can find it at 222 West 23rd Street. It was built between 1883 and 1885, and it has had a parade of superstars who have lived there, who have written there, who have written novels there, who have written music there. And so we're going to go into that a little bit more, but the current owners, hey Nathan, the current owners who also own the Jane Hotel and the Bowery Hotel bought the property in 2016 for $250 million. And they planned to continue work that the previous owners had applied for permits and gotten permits approved for in 2012. Well, the plans were halted by the city. Well, the construction has since resumed, and the developers plan to reopen the hotel as a luxury hotel by the end of this year, but not before filing a $100 million lawsuit against the city, the Department of Buildings, and the Department of Housing and Preservation and Development, alleging that the delays cost them at least $100 million. Okay. Mm-hmm. Julianne, thoughts on this? The Chelsea Hotel, also known as Hotel Chelsea or simply the Chelsea.
Oh my gosh, so many thoughts on this. Well, I mean, the first thing I think I would say is change is really hard. I think for anyone who is a lover of the art that New York City produces and inspires, there are probably a lot of mixed emotions. I mean,
Yeah.
I am a big fan of New York City history, especially when it comes to the arts and the artists who've lived here and worked here. And, I guess what I think about most is there's a story about Arthur C. Clarke, who, with Stanley Kubrick, wrote 2001: A Space Odyssey during a stay at the Chelsea Hotel. And Arthur C. Clarke was quoted as saying, I love this quote, "This place is my spiritual home. Everyone is surprised that I come to this hardly five-star hotel." So, thinking about that, I think it's kind of ironic that the Chelsea Hotel, which was once, known as just this incredible haven for artists, is now going to, in fact, be a luxury hotel. So can't stop progress, but I do have mixed feelings, to be honest.
Of course. Naturally, understandably. Thank you. Thank you, Julianne. Okay, Paul, what are your thoughts on this?
So on the less sophisticated side of things, it was a great place to party. I lived
Oh my God.
I lived at London Terrace Towers at the time, right? So that's 23rd and 9th Avenue, so parallel to Hotel Chelsea, and it was a great place to exist. And I remember having so many great times there. But on a more real estate note, it was interesting peeling back some of the layers that created the Hotel Chelsea. For I believe the name of the restaurant was Don Quixote, but just understanding that they had a 99-year lease there, for example, was kind of interesting, kind of when you start peeling back the layers of what made that property legendary. But again, it's inspired so many people and so many ideals, and it's the end of an era for sure. So we will miss her in the midst of all of this turmoil, litigation, etc. So yeah.
Yes. So true, and obviously the city is always evolving. We have Rita Parker saying she agrees completely with that. It is kind of the end of an era, but a new era will come. And, for those of you who have not yet seen the episode of Celebrity Ghost Stories with Michael Imperioli, who is, you may know him as Christopher from The Sopranos, you have got to see this episode of his story of seeing a ghost at the Chelsea Hotel. Whether you're a believer in this kind of thing or not a believer, you're going to have chills from head to toe. So just Google Celebrity Ghost Stories, Michael Imperioli.
Done.
Woo!
Done
Wow.
and done.
Wow. Yes. Okay. So interesting. Okay. Well, thank you. Also in real estate news, the New York Times reports that April's biggest closing took place at 15 Central Park West. So this is a duplex that had been on the market at Central Park West on and off for 3 years with a price as high as $65 million. And it sold for just under $47 million. Good morning, Ian. And it just sold for $47 million. That was the highest price point in April. Okay, thoughts on that, Julianne?
Well, having done business at 15 Central Park West right from the beginning, I would say that I'm not surprised that it set a record. Back in 2008, the building had opened. My client had purchased while it was in construction, decided that they didn't want to live there. And in 2008, we put it on the market for sale, which was a little scary because in 2008, not very much was selling. Yes. And long story short, we not only sold it, she basically doubled her money. It was purportedly, and I would believe it at the time, 15 Central Park West in 2008 was the only building that was making money for its owners if they wanted to sell. So I think that's kind of an interesting piece of its history, but I think it is has always been true of that building. I mean, it is always sold very, very well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, so interesting and such a beautiful building. Paul, you've got a compliment from AB Square. Says, loving the mug, Paul LeMarc Brown. Okay. So moving from real estate news into a townhouse market update. So, as you know, if you've been paying attention to the real estate market in New York City, townhouses are hot, hot, hot. And many people wonder, like, what's the entry point, the starting point, price point for townhouses around New York City? Well, obviously, this depends so much on the condition of the property and the location of the property, right? But you could find in the $200,000-300,000 range as a starting price point, and that is for Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and the Bronx. It's possible, okay? Reach out to Julianne or Paul if you want to learn more, but you can find a townhouse at that starting point. In Manhattan, you can find currently in Marble Hill, Manhattan, which is at the very top of the tip of Manhattan, starting at 800. So I would move on that if I were you, if you're looking for a townhouse. But, obviously that's not standard. The median listed price for townhouses in Manhattan is around 10 million. So, however, this again is a very, very hot market. So Paul LeMarc Brown, if you tuned into Townhouse Tuesday last Tuesday, you heard us talking about his townhouse that had a number of offers, two of them $200,000 over asking. So now is in contract in Brooklyn at $200,000 over asking. Paul, tell us a bit about that townhouse and also some best practices for submitting a winning offer in this crazy townhouse market.
Thank you so much for that intro. So yeah, 282A Gates Avenue, great property. It has been owned by the same family for, I would say, about a decade, and there were some challenges with the space in terms of bringing it to market. Like we all have challenges in real estate. So staging was the first hurdle. But after you master staging and also master the lives of a family of 4 plus their dog and their cat, you kind of sort of have to just make sure everyone stays aligned in terms of being motivated. And it's kind of like corralling cats almost, right? Like,
right.
So once that first hurdle is down, you bring it to the market and you thought you priced it at a fair price, and you have, because you've done the comps, you've done the research, right? And you understand that the market is shifting quite fast. So next you put on the market, and then 14 offers later, you're in contract. And you're thinking, okay, now what?
Wow.
So I want to share with my Triple Mint family some best practices, pretty much.
Great.
And some of my observations, more or less. So when brokers were coming in amidst other people, and by the way, I staged it so everyone saw each other for the most part. So to just create a little bit of moderate pressure to know that there are people looking. So 14 appointments were shuffled into the property, 30-minute increments. One group would go upstairs, one would start downstairs, and they would cross each other. I'm sure there was some side eye being, thrusted left and right. But that's my first recommendation, is that when you are bringing a buyer into a property, you should definitely help your buyers understand the pressure, that even though that there are a lot of people here at the time, that approximately maybe you may receive about a quarter of the offers from. So if there are 14 people, probably expect around 3 to 4 offers. Not everyone's going to put a bid in.
Okay.
So that's a part of tempering and actually managing your buyers' expectations, because I think most buyers nowadays, they do have burnout. They do say to themselves, why bother putting an offer forth? Because it's just too much pressure, too much competition. So that's my first recommendation in terms of at least managing your buyers' expectations. Secondly, engage listing agent. There were some brokers who would call me 3-4 times, a day. It will email, text, call. You can go too far, but for the most part, I never forgot those listing agents.
Okay.
Some people called me once. They were very meek, very shy, and then they would scurry back to their hole and, you know, wait for like the next bidding, the next final best and offer. So make yourself known as a listing agent in a respectful way, right? There's always a little bit, there's a fine line between too much and too little. The secondly, I think as a listing agent, people were trying to figure out where the prices were going to come in. I had no idea. We had the first submission of offers. Then we had the best and final, and people kept poking the bear, namely me, where offers were going to end up. I had no idea. Once again, I ran the comps, did the research, and I thought it would be somewhere around 2.7. Obviously, that was a little low.
And just to remind our viewers, you listed at 2.6, right?
2.599. Yes, 2.6.
Okay.
I like little magic, little number magic. But from what I take away also is from this working with 282 A Gates Avenue is that at least prepare your buyers to make a minimum 5%, bid 5% over the asking price at a minimum. Depending on what you see, depending on what it is, the property is, depending on what's been upgraded in the property. So that's a really good, I think, rule of thumb for now. This could become 10% in a week or 2 weeks or a month. And finally, I would say to make sure that, that's enough for now, actually.
Okay. That's good. I like that. So in summary, if you're a buyer, you be prepared to bid 5% over ask. And as this market continues, which we don't know where it's going to go, could be 10%, could be 15%. Just follow that. You need to know that, you know, there's no such thing as a COVID discount, particularly when it comes to townhouses, which are a commodity that people are wanting because of COVID as a response in many reasons to COVID. So, okay.
Yes.
Love that, Paul. That's really, important information, and knowledge is power. When you know that this is what's happening, then you're not blown away. And does it, is it worth it to you? If it's worth it to you, then go for it, because property price, property values in New York City just continue to increase. So even though right now it may seem like, oh, I'm buying at the top of the market, you actually may find in 2 years that you bought at a really good price compared to what things are going to look like in 2 years. At least that's historically the case in New York City. So, okay, I love that. Thank you so much. Okay, great. Well, we are, okay, so Julianne, what are you seeing in the townhouse market?
I mean, I first of all, Paul, well done. And great advice. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think I've certainly had my own experience with brownstones, townhouses, but mine was actually, interestingly, I think it's only interesting because sometimes when we look at where we've come, it's not hard to understand why we are where we are. Back in August, when we first reopened, we put a brownstone on the market in Harlem. We only had, it was at the very, very beginning of the reopening. So we had 2 buyers who came, literally 2. And they came in the first week, then they came back in the second week. One of them became the buyer. At the time, we were just reopening for showing, and it was really unclear who was going to buy anything and what the prices would be like. But that was our experience back in August. If you look at the statistics of what's happening right now, not only what happened just with Paul's sale, but in Manhattan, the pending contracts are up 150% from last year, and the Brooklyn townhouse or brownstone pending contracts are up almost 500% from last year. So I think anybody who's looking to buy a brownstone or a townhouse is really better hold their hats and hope they have the right agent guiding them, because this is not a market for the faint of heart.
Yes, absolutely. Such a good point. Thank you, Julianne. And and again, that's part of the reason that we do the Morning Mint, so that our viewers can be in touch with the type of agent that you want at working in your favor when you are bidding on a townhouse. So please be in touch if you're looking to purchase. Julianne and Paul are your allies in this. They are experienced in this, and reach out to us at Triple Mint if you want more information. So I couldn't agree more. It's all about being prepared, and that's fascinating because Julianne, you said that you only had 2 people come through in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks. And in the case of Paul and his listing, he received 14 appointments the day it listed, right? So it listed, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday, and you got 14 appointments for the first Saturday, which,
correct.
Wow.
But it only takes one, Rosanna, and I remind sellers that in any market, it only takes one, right? So.
That's true.
Well, you can only sell it once, right?
You can only sell even better.
Sadly. That's right. Yeah. It only takes 1 to buy it, and it only takes 2 for a bidding war. So come prepared for that. Okay, so now we're going to be moving into what's happening around town. Okay, so I'll give you, hey Luis, I'll give you a quick summary of what's happening, and then Julianne, I want to hear from you about something you're really excited about. So for those of you, and I know there are many Triple Mint agents and team members who are so thrilled to hear this news, Broadway tickets are on sale. Woo! Okay, there are 8 shows selling Broadway tickets starting this week for August shows. So run, don't walk to get your tickets, because for those of you who are excited about the reopening of New York City, everything that's happening, everything that's opening up, tickets are selling like hotcakes. So you want to be among the first to buy. Okay. Also, Brooklyn's libraries are reopening. So 13 out of the 66 branches opened yesterday. So we're getting there slowly but surely. And also, this is something that to me sounds so beautiful. The New York City Philharmonic just launched what they're calling Bandwagon 2. And it's a mobile shipping container that they're using as a stage to offer 39 free shows this month around New York City. Just this month alone, 39 shows. So, here, basically just look up New York Philharmonic, Bandwagon 2, and you're going to see what's happening. Julianne, over to you. Tell us about what you're excited about.
I am so excited. There are 2, so anybody who knows me knows that I love literature, and I'm thrilled about the libraries reopening. I also am just really strong supporter of small businesses. I really think they've been through it, as we all have over the last year, but there are 2 new bookstores that have opened. One is in Brooklyn Heights. It's called A Novel Kitchen, which is such a cute name. And they sell not only books, but they also sell records, and they serve food. And they're really trying to do a lot with community outreach, have poetry slams, have pop-ups for neighborhood artists. The other bookstore that I want to mention is a bookstore called Sweet Pickle Books. It's on Orchard Street. It's on the Lower East Side. So the founder is this cute girl who used to watch this movie with her mother. It was called Crossing Delancey, and it was all about the Lower East Side, and specifically this romance between this young woman and a guy who owned a pickle store, as there used to be those pickle guys in the neighborhood. So she was inspired by this movie and really wanted to pay tribute to that neighborhood, her neighborhood. So she sells pickles and she sells bugs, and just really adorable. So I am thrilled and excited to go visit them.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, well, I want to thank you both, Paul LeMarc Brown, Julianne Bond of Triple Mint. We just love working with you. We're so excited for your successes, and we want to thank all of our viewers for tuning in today. We went way over time, but I'm not surprised because there's so much to talk about, and I know we could talk for hours here. So if we, it doesn't matter. We may or may not have people tuning in, but we could continue the conversation. I want to thank you all for being with us today. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to the Morning Mint at 8 a.m. for the Kings and Queens of Kings and Queens, where you'll be learning about Brooklyn and Queens with our Director of Sales, Molly Townsend, with Aaron Seawood from Team Carte Blanche, Noel Bourbon from Team Carte Blanche, and Teresa Prasad from Team Carte Blanche. Okay, we're so excited to have you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you soon. Have a great Tuesday, everyone.
Have a good day, everybody.
Great day.
Bye.
Be well.